All right. Well, again, Scott, I'm really happy to see you again.
I'm
And
happy to be here.
I'm glad that you're getting back into the Dhamma. You asked a question about Sutta number 19, which is two kinds of thoughts. And you wanted to know how can you tell when a thought is unwholesome and when a thought is wholesome? Okay. Actually, all of them can be uh, broken into those two major groups, but it's kind of got a big, wide middle ground there where it's kind of hard to tell whether a thought is wholesome or not wholesome. So let's go over the kind of thoughts that we know are downright unwholesome, which is in that sutta for sure. And that is the thoughts of revenge, thoughts from getting even, thoughts of competing, thoughts of getting it right, thoughts of I'm not okay, thoughts of things could get better, thoughts of complaining. All of those are victims' kinds of thoughts. And then downright wholesome thoughts would be in the category of everything's okay, everything is fine, not a worry in the world, no place to go and nothing to do, and wow, this is nice. Okay, so those are all the kind of things that we would consider wholesome. Now, there's a big middle ground, and in that middle ground, you could then begin to put things in two classifications. One would be, is this stuff real, absolutely real, or is it absolutely a lie or false or no good? And then we would still have a middle ground between that, and that would be the I don't know. Okay. Now, in fact, we've been talking about getting the website going. And in that regard, when I find a bug, am I going to have a wholesome thought or an unwholesome thought? When I find that something that we thought was working is not working. Okay. What would be a wholesome thought? Oh, I'm glad we caught that. And I'm sure that I can fix it. Here, let me give it a go. And an unwholesome thought would be, oh no, I thought it was fixed, but now it's broken. Now I've got to work. Now I've got to feel bad. Now I've got something to do, right? And so you can already, with your nodding your head and smiling, and tell that, yeah, those thoughts are not wholesome.
I forgot to I forgot to congratulate myself for spotting each unwholesome thought. So it's so funny because like I remember this method that you taught me and it works so well when I remember to do it, right? When I remember to do it. But every time I spot unwholesome thought, congratulations, I spot it. Oh, another unwholesome thought. Congratulations again, I spot that one. And just
Mm-hmm.
relentlessly like create this wholesome feedback loop. That's why I was smiling because like you made me remember that.
Yeah, on a regular basis, we congratulate ourselves. On a
Yeah.
regular basis, we remember to say, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can fix that. Or in another case, I know exactly who can fix that. Okay. Now, there was a while when the website was in such a state that I needed help and didn't have anybody to help. But still, the positive thoughts will be, well, we can do that later. It's not an issue. It's not a problem. We'll get around to it. But if we have the thought of, oh no, that thing is broken and I don't know who I can get to fix it, that's back into the negative thought. So that middle ground then is that if we can see things that are factual, like it's broken, but we still have a positive attitude about it, well, so what? It's broken. We'll get it fixed. If I don't know how to fix it, I'll figure it out, or I'll get somebody who does know how to figure it out. And then slowly, slowly, the website's all coming together. And the difference between most people and a noble is that During the time when it's under development, people will go up and down. I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. To where the noble attitude is, we'll get it done, we can do this, everything is okay, we've got it going. We'll get around to it. And then when we finally get it done, now our yippee-ki-yay is much higher because it didn't have all that up and down stuff in order to get to the final result. When we get to the final result, it's even more beautiful.
This sparked another question.
Mhm.
So in your words, what is right samadhi?
Well, okay, right samadhi has to do with right unification of mind. Now, one of the things that I've been seeing recently is you've heard me talk about the three ego states that Freud developed: superego, ego, and id, and that Eric Berne talks about in the sense of parent, adult, and child.
Yeah.
Okay. The way that we can look at it is that our mind is divided into three categories. It's divided in three ways. One, how things should be. Number two is how we want them to be. So that's the child, how things should be, the idealism, the way that political parties talk. This is what we want to do. That's out of the parent, or actually how things should be. There ought to be a law. You've heard that expression. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the parent. And then how we want things is out of the child.
Right.
And reality is out of the adult. And you've heard the expression that in the White House there's no adults in the room. That's
Yeah.
because it's either filled with idealistic people who want things to be done a certain way, and then there's the rest of the crowd is all children who are all greedy and want things their way. And then there's the reality. Now, in that samadhi mind, what that means is that we spend a whole lot more time in reality and become unconcerned with how things should be, what standards, and how we want it to be. Okay? So, an example would be like an athlete, or maybe a more general one. Let's talk about being fat. Okay? So, we have the parent ego state of saying, you ought to not be fat, you should be healthy. And then you have the child who is conflicted. Yeah, I want to be thin, I want to be beautiful, but I want ice cream. And then the adult in the room is the one who says, yes, you are fat, and you're still okay. You're fat and you're okay. That's just fine. It's all right for you to be fine. Okay, and so in some cases, I forget the name of the comedian, Fluffy. Have you ever seen Fluffy?
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, okay, so you know who he is, all right?
Yeah.
Well, he makes a lot of bucks off of him being really fat.
Yeah, for sure. He
Okay.
does.
However, in the past year or two, he has been diagnosed with diabetes. And now he's got the issue of that, yes, I am fat and I'm making money off of it, but now I'm fat, got sick, and if I don't lose weight, I'm going to die. Right? So you can see the negative thoughts in there. And the answer still would be in a wholesome way is that I'm fat, I'm a comedian, I'm making really great money off of this, and this is wonderful. And now that I've got diabetes, that's okay too. And if I can remember when I'm about to have that ice cream that is not good for me, then I can stop. But a lot of fat people will say, oh no, I've got to go on a diet. And then they're not satisfied with the diet because it takes you many years to put on a lot of excess fat. And it's going to take a long number of years to take it back off again. And that often what people do is they get in a hurry with their desire and their rules, right? And so they get into a hurry and then they stop the diet and they get even fatter again. You can see all the unwholesomeness in there. But in fact, Fluffy could be fat and could have diabetes and be just fine with that. And then when he's having an ice cream, you say, wait a minute, let me put this down. I could be happy putting the ice cream down and not worry about the fat, not worry about the diabetes. Just right now, I don't want that ice cream. Now that would be wholesome, to stay away from the dangerous stuff without complaining again. Oh, I'm fat, and oh, I've got diabetes, and oh, I should be on a diet, therefore I can't have the ice cream. Because that's the rule now. I want the ice cream, but I can't have it because the rules say that you're fat and you're going to die, therefore you've got to not have ice cream. So the invitations for unwholesome thoughts are numerous. And this is what the samadhi mind is that it's always congruent in the happy state. So that I'm fat, I got diabetes, that's okay, I might die soon, and I can handle that too. And now here's the ice cream. Oh, I actually don't want the ice cream right now because I have wisdom and knowledge that it's dangerous. Therefore, I can put it down happily. In other words, moment by moment by moment, we always look on the bright side of life, back to the reality, and that is where it's wholesome. Because the outcome of the diet is irrelevant. That's off into the future, wanting things off into the future. So now we can take that exact thing to being an athlete. Oh, I want to be on that team, or oh, I want to be able to score goals better, or any of that kind of stuff. Instead of recognizing I'm okay right now. I can play well enough right now. Let me practice.
I feel like that mindset is what makes you play the best. Is like having that like in sports psychology, if you're too concerned with your performance instead of happy with the way it is, then you're going to end up like self-sabotaging yourself.
Exactly.
And yeah.
In fact, I've got to make this goal is the very thought that's going to prevent someone from
That's you're
making
gonna
the
miss
goal.
that penalty, yeah. And it's crazy in soccer, man. Like these people in these big World Cups, they miss the penalty, they become a villain of an entire country. These people, they're so into this game, the soccer game, that because the person misses the penalty, everybody hates that one guy that misses the penalty. And I just feel so bad. I feel so bad for them when they miss it. They look so
But it's
heartbroken.
okay
Yeah.
because that's real. If you can, yeah, so he's heartbroken. You can see he's heartbroken and see the reality of it, but it doesn't have to affect the way you feel right now. You don't have to be heartbroken because he's heartbroken.
So what you're saying is it's possible, like, let's say there's like an entire country of people that hate you, and you could still be in a wholesome state of mind, even if a whole stadium people hate you.
Right.
Right.
Except that in that regard, let's not go for the whole world because the whole world's not going to know anyone. But
Yeah,
let's
not the
talk
whole
about a
world.
whole
Yeah,
stadium full.
yeah, whole
Guess
stadium.
what? Not 100% of the whole stadium is going to be against you. That there's going to be a few friends. Can you be one of them yourself?
That's
Can you
true.
still be okay? Because there's a few that are going to be okay. In fact, the manager of the other team is very, very happy you missed that goal.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
that's a good
some of the
point.
hot dog vendors, they're very happy that you missed that
Yeah,
goal. They're going to sell more hot dogs in this area.
that's what I feel like. I like going on nature walks because I run into some of the hot dog vendors, like just people who are just like happy to be here, just like friendly, good people. It's like you just run. I'm more likely to bump into them on like a trail somewhere than I am like a, like the bar or like some club somewhere or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I feel like it's hard to find good, wholesome people in California. It really is.
Well, you can see
Yeah,
that the whole country is going down worse and worse into that kind of pit. I
yeah,
think that the way to put it would be that the demographics of this country are changing. And a whole lot of people don't want it to change. They like it the way that they remember it, even if it never was that way. In other words, their memories are not memories of reality.
it's hard to find spiritual friends. I mean, it's easier to do on the internet, but it's harder to find spiritual friends and like locally that aren't like just superstitious religious people. It seems like most of the people who are into like some spirituality or religion or like or anything like that is just
Magical belief
superstitious.
they call spirituality. They're
Magic,
trying
yeah,
to paint a
it's not.
face on it.
There's no substance to it. It's like there's nothing. There's nothing like enlightening about it. There's nothing. Yeah, it's just stupid. Like, yeah. But
Actually, in a
yeah,
way, a lot of religions have value because the people who are in the religion agree with me. So therefore that religion is valuable, even though all of us have unwholesome thoughts. At least we share those unwholesome thoughts.
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
a really good example of that is a guy who's a
yeah,
barfly, who's a lounge lizard. He's in the bar, and somebody new comes in the bar, and he says, "Come drink with me. Come have a drink."
yeah,
Okay, he wants someone to drink with him because that validates his drinking.
yeah,
If he walks in, if somebody who is only interested in finding somebody and not interested in a drink, he's going to piss half the bar off because he's not having a drink. He's looking for information because they're not being validated. And so that's the problem with Christianity is that they want to be validated for their bad behavior. An example of that is believe in Jesus and you'll get forgiveness. So it's okay to be a great big screw up because Jesus will
I
forgive
started.
you and so
I've
will we.
I've been playing around with like the Christ and like contemplation of contemplating Christ. Like you can use Jesus Christ or whatever, but in a wholesome way. Like instead of like
Here, let's do it
asking
this way. Think about
ask.
it this way.
I
Think
was
about
going.
it this way.
All right.
Jesus Jesus the guy, Jesus the man, Jesus was a spiritual dude that had a whole lot of really good stuff to say that agreed with the Buddha in many contexts. But Jesus Christ, the Anointed One, the Son of God, the one that the Christians have, is not the same dude. And he's
Yeah,
not two
I'm not
faced.
talking. Yeah, like I'm not talking about like the literal like history of Jesus Christ. I'm more talking about like the symbolic
The ideal.
representation of Christ. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so like the idea that Christ isn't like the in the person in the body of Christ, but Christ is the like Christ is the truth, the way and the life. It's like something, it's an ideal, a higher ideal that it's not it's just about love and like getting into a wholesome state. It's like those kinds of
Right.
wholesome
Okay.
qualities.
In that
Yeah,
way, it would be the way, the truth, and the reality.
yeah,
The reality.
the
Okay. And
reality.
so that
Yeah,
was the thing that the man Jesus had to teach was let's get real. Let's have neighborly thoughts. Let's have the golden rule of treating other people the way that you know that they should be treated because that's the way you want to be treated. So that's the golden rule. However, there's an entirely different dude on the grounds, and that is the Christ, the idealism, the dude in the air, the Son of God, the one who was sacrificed and raised from the dead. What that really means is he had a bad weekend, so it wasn't much of a sacrifice. But that kind of mentality puts him way far away. But if you see the Jesus that was teaching the Dhamma, you can see him as real, as very close by, so that you can, in fact, have that way, that truth, that reality right here.
Yeah, like the idea is that the love that you directly experience is none other than the love of Christ. So it's like you're like, this is it, like this is Christ, like more like like you could think of the Buddha as a person, or like the Buddha like as in like the awakened mind, like it's not necessarily a person. So like if you do the same thing like with the with Christ, like it can work, I feel, or be a valid path if someone's like, I mean, I'm thinking more about like the Christian mystics. Like I like you know, practicing like contemplating the presence of God and experiencing God in this moment. And like
Here it
this,
is.
yeah,
We're in
here it is.
paradise.
Yeah, in paradise. Like it's not that you need to be saved, like you're already saved is the
You're
idea.
already saved,
You're already
exactly.
saved. Yeah. The
Now
grace,
you're getting it.
and you just feel the grace rain down on you because its glory is like it's limitless. And um
I
that
don't
kind
need
of
to be
stuff.
taken care of. I don't need to be forgiven because
Yeah.
I've already got everything I need. I don't even need the love of Jesus because I don't need any love. I'm already loved
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah. Like it's like a self-evident love. Like it's like there's power to it for sure. And that's a more like a more authentic spiritual. So I'm not trying to say it's hard to find Buddhists. Like I don't really discriminate, as if someone's an authentic spiritual practitioner, like you can tell kind of, even if they may not be practicing a certain style from a certain
Maybe
tradition.
let's say that they speak a different language, but they're still practicing Dhamma. They
They're
just do
practicing
it with,
Dhamma. Yeah, they're still practicing Dhamma.
which is
They just,
reality. That's another definition
yeah,
of the word Dhamma.
yeah,
Atamayata, that's how it is.
yeah.
Idiopapagayata, rather.
Dhamma is the study of the way things actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And that has become more clear to me that waking up and taking a look at my experience rather than my ideas or representations of what my experience is. So it's like thinking about the past and the future, conjuring up some kind of thing that's not actually a direct experience. But how do you, I guess you can't conjure up something that's, I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Right. A
Getting
whole
into,
lot of
I'm,
Christianity is conjuring up
yeah,
as opposed to investigating what's real.
that's true. I agree. Yeah.
And the reality is that we're in a paradise. The reality is you're already in heaven and you make a hell out of it. Not you personally, but I mean, that's what generally happens in
Yeah.
society, is they don't know that they're in a heaven already because it doesn't match their standards. It doesn't match what they want, but it certainly is real. And so, yeah, having those thoughts of uh, that the teachings of Jesus or the reality of the situation is already here, is presence. We are already in the presence of God. The little joke that I would tell way back when I was in North Carolina and I was visiting Christians, and they would say, "Well, why are you wearing bare feet? You don't wear any shoes." And I said, "Remember that when Moses went to the mountain and he was in front of the burning bush, what was the first thing that the burning bush said to him? Moses, take off thy shoes, for thou art upon holy ground." All right. So that's what that means is that you're going to always be in the process, or actually every opportunity at every moment, you can be on holy ground. Here it is. Holy ground is all over the place. Every dirt farmer knows that in a way. And so seeing everything is absolutely holy. Everything is whole. Everything is spiritual. Everything is divine. It's already that way. But we destroy it with our ideals, our judgments. And so when you're talking about the Christ, what that means is he's pointing back to reality. He's pointing back that heaven is not far away. It's here. This is it. And that will then lead, that whole point then is the idea of let's start having wholesome thoughts about the fact that we're already on holy ground. We're already in the presence of God. Here he is, if you want to put a personality. But the fact is that God is so vast, he's beyond personality, that the he doesn't work.
Yeah, I did to use God and contemplation of God to kind of the point purpose to like generate those like goosebumps, like
Mm-hmm.
get that
This
feeling
is
of like
it.
awe.
Wow, this is it.
The
I'm sitting
the
in the lap of
practice,
God right now. This
yeah,
chair is God.
yeah, the practice of being like in awe, being awe inspired. It can opens you up, like it opens up your I'm speaking metaphorically, but like, obviously it opens up your heart, um and it's like it's easier to practice jhana when you are experiencing love, because obviously love is a wholesome state of mind
If you
to
use
be
the
in.
word correctly. But the word love has a lot of problems with it because it's used in so many different unwholesome ways. But if you're the way you're using it is quite wholesome.
Agape love, like the love of God, like the love that's just
It's
simple.
already there.
It's so simple, like just the simple joy of existence kind of love, just like yeah.
You're alive. That's love
Yeah,
enough.
and it doesn't even need another person to feel love, like, because it's not like directed at anybody, but it's like if whoever comes into contact with it is still a part of this moment, obviously. So it's like yeah, you treat your loved ones better, I guess, get I'm still working on my anger. I still get angry, but it's like um I made an effort to wake up when get angry, and yeah, I congratulate myself
You
for
can
spotting my.
only do something about the anger when you recognize that it's real, that there it is. I'm angry.
Yeah,
Then you
yeah,
can
when
do
I.
something. But most people are in denial of their anger because they're not supposed to be angry. They say, I'm not angry, and they say
Yeah,
it in an angry way.
I fully recognize the habitual tendency. Like I recognize it, but still catches me by surprise sometimes. Um,
Well, good. Waking up, that's hard to do.
it's hard to wake up. Yeah.
But you can do it. You can wake up to that anger. You can wake up to the, actually, whenever anyone is angry, that's because they're afraid of loss of something. And so that's a way of thinking about it is that when I'm angry, what am I afraid of losing? My esteem, my self-respect. Somebody's called me a dirty turd. Somebody says I don't know the Dhamma. Somebody says you're full of crap. All of that kind of stuff. And then the fear comes, and from that fear of protection from that danger, that's where the anger comes from, and we feel big and powerful because of the anger. And so see the fear under that, and then you can say, hey, Yeah, but I'm not really afraid because it's not really all that dangerous. So what if somebody calls me a turd and says you don't know the Dhamma? That's just an opinion. It's not dangerous. And so we can give up our fear, and when we do, then we can give up the response to the fear, which is our anger.
Right. The anger stems from some sort of fear. Yeah, that makes sense. It's usually around us like social relationships.
Mm-hmm. Like
Because
somebody called you something.
you're afraid. Yeah, there's some like
They
teach
disagree with us. When you say something and somebody disagrees, we become
that.
afraid. Well, I might be wrong, therefore I'm going to bust him in the
Yeah,
face.
or like you're afraid of being rejected by the herd because
Mm-hmm.
it's a survival
Aha, that's a
instinct.
good way of putting it.
Yeah,
Because being rejected by the herd is almost certain death.
yeah,
Here the lions come and the herd gets together, and the only ones that are in danger are the ones who are on the outside of the herd. Those in the middle of the herd, they're safe. That's
yeah.
why humans tend to herd together. There is safety in numbers, so they say. And so we naturally want to be on the inside. Guess what, Scott? You are already on the inside. You're already an insider. You're already quite in the middle of the herd. You're in no danger. Even if another member of the herd criticizes you, they're probably on the outside of the herd themselves in their own mind. They're criticizing you in a way because they're jealous. Ha ha, I'm really glad they criticized me because that gives me, ha 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 ha, they're jealous. I got something and they don't have it.
In the world of reffing water polo, I have people who are against me and people who are, like what I like my stuff and like are supporters of me. And yeah, it's I wouldn't say one there's a majority one or the other. It seems to be pretty split. Um, but yeah, some people like me, some people don't like me. Just the way it is, I guess.
But they're
Uh,
all friends. Make them
yeah,
friends in your own
yeah.
mind.
I'm working on that because it's hard to be friends with somebody where you can clearly tell that they don't like you.
Well, what you can say then is that it's clear that you've got something they want. They want to be the
I
referee
know
so
that's
they
the
can call
problem.
the shots.
It's the problem, the classic problem of never outshine your master. So it's like if you outshine somebody who's higher than you in the social hierarchy, they will almost punish you for that because they don't want to feel inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm
Isn't
talking
it
about?
wonderful to have a good teacher around who actually wants you to outshine him?
Oh, I gotta hold on. I gotta plug my computer in. About to die. Have a teacher that warns you about shining. Is that what you said?
No, I says, isn't it wonderful to have a teacher who wants his students to
Oh, wants
outshine him?
wants his students to. Oh, okay, yeah,
Right, because if the students outshine him, that means that he doesn't have to work at shining anymore.
yeah,
He's passed the torch. The one who passes the torch doesn't have to run so hard anymore. The one who passes the baton in a foot race. When you pass the baton, you don't have to work so hard anymore. Isn't it wonderful that the students are taking over?
yeah. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to see it, and that seems to be more applicable to a spiritual teacher than we're both making money. Like it's like sometimes me making more money means less means other people not getting that position. So there's different interests. Yeah, there's
But
different
then
like
that good teacher already is in the position. He's already got enough money. He wants you to make more money, even if he makes less, because he's already got enough.
yeah, because spirituality is not about money, but I'm talking about the problems I deal with at work.
Well, you're talking about ordinary people and how you, as a spiritual dude, get along with the ordinary people.
Yeah, I'm asking that. I'm asking you
Yeah.
that. How?
Okay. So the way that you can see it then is in both directions. One is that you can continue to be the star of the show, knowing that you're going to make people jealous. And when they get jealous, that's okay. That means that they're now going to strive harder, even if they take an opportunity to put you down. But anytime anybody puts you down, think of it as the reason that they're putting you down is because you're already a shining star, and they're not, and they want to be. You're already in the middle of the herd, and they're an outsider, so they're criticizing you. They're finding something wrong with you because they're on the outside. So if you already see yourself as completely successful, so in that regard, you can see that in sports. You can see that in the spiritual world of the teachers. Any teacher that would criticize another teacher is because they all think that they're not good enough. But a teacher who has been, long established, got lots of followers, when somebody criticizes him, it doesn't mean a thing because he's already in the middle. He's already got he's already in the spotlight. So he's not worried about the spotlight being diminished. He's very happy that there's another spotlight on the stage, or two, or a dozen. It's the ones who were in the dark that are criticizing you because they want your spotlight.
Reminds me of that song we used to sing in church. We're like, this little light of mine,
Fine.
I'm gonna
I'm
let
going to
it
let it
shine.
shine. Exactly.
Yeah,
Just let your light shine. You're
yeah,
going to get criticized for that. But
yeah,
guess what? The criticism rolls off of you like water off a duck's back, or better still, the duck
yeah,
knows how to stay out of the rain.
yeah. I like that.
Don't let them touch you. Their remarks are talk. They're actually, when they criticize you, Scott, they're not criticizing you, Scott, in your mind. They're criticizing the Scott that's in their mind. They don't even know who you are.
Yeah. I was talking to my partner the other day, and I spoke those exact words that you told me to him. He I I was doing yesterday. I did really good at work. Everything went really well. And my partner asked me how I was able to stay so calm during such heated situations. And I told him people who are yelling at you or get mad at you, they're not yelling at you, Eugene. They're yelling at the uniform you're wearing. They're yelling at the position of the referee, and is
Mm-hmm.
nothing personal about it. And
Unless you
yeah,
make it personal, and then you feel
yeah,
bad because
no,
now
and then
it's you in the uniform.
and yeah, and then he said sometimes he said to me sometimes it is personal, and then I said
Only when he
it,
makes it so.
yeah, I said even when it's personal, it's not personal. I um that might be circular reasoning, but it makes sense to me.
Well,
Uh,
even when somebody wants it to be personal, to you, it's still not me. It's not personal. In the way that you
right.
said it, it's the uniform. They're angry at the uniform. But
Yeah.
guess what? It's not the uniform you're wearing, it's the uniform in their mind
Yeah, their idea of you.
that
Yeah.
they're yelling at. They're
Yeah,
not
because
yelling at
they
you, they're
don't know
yelling at.
they don't know me. Yeah, they don't know who I am. They're uh they're angry at their idea of who I am, but they don't know
Mm-hmm.
who I am at all. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the
Um,
position to take. So how could you get angry at those people because they're angry at something that they don't even know?
right. Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we can have compassion for those poor turds who get
Yeah.
angry at things that don't belong to them.
Yeah, I learned all this from you. We've had similar conversations, but it feels really good to like talk about it again because I need like the
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. I'm glad you called.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, I don't have any more
So
questions.
go
Yeah.
off and just be happy. When they
Thank
get
you.
angry at you, when they're on the outside of the herd, like the words you use, when they're angry at a uniform, but the uniform is not the one you're wearing, it's the uniform in their own mind.
Yeah. Right.
Poor dude. He doesn't even know what's going on. That's why he's angry. He didn't get what he wanted. So
Yeah.
it's the child inside. He's feeling at a loss. That's why he gets angry, is because he thinks he's lost something. He's lost his power. He doesn't feel safe. You're in the middle of the herd. You can feel safe. You're already where you belong. You're right in the middle of it.
Thank you, Dhammarato. This
We'll
this
see
has
you
been
later. I'm so glad to see you
yeah.
back again, Scott. Thanks for calling.
No, yeah, that this call has been a joy. It's been a joy. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
All right. I'll
All
see you.
right. We'll see you. Call
Yeah,
again
bye-bye.
soon.
Okay.